Now it's time to open the Woo Files. A place where curiosity meets the unexplained. Today's Woo File asks a simple question. Can human beings know things without using any of their five senses? Now, before you answer, of course not. Let me introduce you to someone who has spent much of his career asking exactly that question. His name is Rupert Sheldrake. Now, Sheldrake isn't a self-proclaimed psychic or a New Age guru. He's a Cambridge-trained biologist who has written more than a dozen books and spent decades researching phenomena that most scientists wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole. His critics say he's chasing pseudoscience. His supporters say he's asking questions that mainstream science refuses to ask. Either way, he's definitely woo. One of his best-known experiments involved something almost everyone has experienced. Have you ever thought about someone, and then the phone rang, and it was them? Most of us chalk that up to coincidence, but Sheldrake wondered, what if it isn't? So he recruited volunteers. Before answering the phone, participants would guess who was calling from a small group of possible callers. Sheldrake reported results of around 40 to 50% correct in some telephone telepathy experiments, where chance would predict about 25% correct. Critics argue there were flaws in the way the experiments were conducted, and the results haven't been consistently repeated by other researchers. Supporters say the effect has appeared often enough to deserve more research. Not every experiment produced the same results, and critics questioned his methods, but the findings were intriguing enough to spark decades of debate. So, lucky guessing? Subconscious clues? Or something more? Another experiment focused on dogs. Specifically, dogs that seemed to know when their owners were coming home. If you've ever had a dog waiting at the window before your car even turned onto the street, you're not alone. Sheldrake studied a dog named JT, whose owner had unpredictable work hours. The claim was that JT often went to the window long before his owner arrived, even when she came home at random times using unfamiliar transportation. Video cameras were used to document the dog's behavior. Again, some researchers found the results compelling. Others argued there were flaws in the experimental design. To this day, there's no scientific consensus. But it's another one of those stories that makes you wonder, how much are animals really aware of? Then there's what Sheldrake called the sense of being stared at. You know the feeling. You're sitting in a restaurant or browsing a bookstore, and suddenly you have the overwhelming urge to turn around. You do, and someone is looking directly at you. Coincidence? Maybe. But Sheldrake designed experiments where one person either looked at another person or deliberately looked away. The person being observed had to say whether they felt they were being watched. Across thousands of trials, he reported results that were again slightly, but consistently better than chance. Enough to be interesting, not enough to convince everyone. So, what do we make of all this? Rupert Sheldrake isn't claiming to have proved psychic abilities. He's asking whether our current understanding of consciousness might be incomplete. Maybe these experiments are examples of subconscious pattern recognition. Maybe they're statistical quirks. Or maybe, just maybe, there's something about the human mind we haven't figured out yet. So what do you think, star people? Have you ever known who was calling before you picked up the phone? Felt someone staring at you? Or had a pet that somehow knew you were on your way home? Coincidence? Instinct? Or intuition? We'll let you decide. That's all for the Woo Files this week.